Today we're going to talk about the silvers, one of the oldest breeds in the American ARBA standard. That's about as good as it gets on a coat. That coat just snaps right back. Today we're going to talk about the silvers, one of the oldest breeds in the American ARBA standard. 100-point standard, 35 points on type, 15 on fur, 45 points on color. Colors distributed between surface and undercolor, evenness of silvering, and brightness of silvering. When we're talking about evenness of silvering, that seems to be a question that a lot of people have. And right out of the standard, the evenness of silvering is more important than the degree of silvering. Silvering is to be evenly distributed over the entire body, head, ears, tail, feet, and legs. That is paramount. That is most important. That sometimes decides the winning factor between some average silvers and above average. When you can fill in this cheek area, you can look down at the feet and legs. When you can extend the tail, look at the tail. And then, of course, if you're judging silvers, you should be looking at the entire animal. You should be turning that animal over and looking at the degree and evenness of silvering throughout. The ears. The color should be deep. It should carry it as deep to the skin as possible. The body type on a silver is unique, just as unique as a type of a Himalayan is in the standard. The body type should have its own category. It's a moderate length. We don't push these up. He is properly posed as this. You want your shoulder still, your rib cage spread and your shoulder still starting as close behind the ear as possible. You want your extra length in the midsection, and you still want ideally as smooth a rump as you possibly can. You want as much smoothness over the hip as you possibly can. The coat is a flyback, but it's not just a flyback coat. It's a snappy flyback, one of the few in the standard that ask for a snappy flyback. And in fact, if you look at the standard, a rollback coat is a disqualification. Other disqualifications in your silver are of course, a dewlap, rollback coat, and then other white spots. Good. So this doe exhibits excellent type. She's a moderately typed doe, but yet she can still have a smooth curvature. And again, evenness of silvering, evenness through the face, through the cheeks. This is one of the most important, this is one of the most difficult areas to fill in and one of the most overlooked areas. The front leg and feet. The tail. The tail is one of the more difficult areas to fill in as well. And then carrying that silvering even. Snappy flyback. That's about as good as it gets on a coat. That coat just snaps right back. So we can talk about evenness of silvering, and while this doe is more heavily silvered, she also fills in that cheek area a lot better than many of them. But where we lose here is some of the overall brightness and distinction of the silvering itself. It tends to get a little distorted. But as far as evenness, she does lighten a little through that chest. She's very even. And again, snappy flyback coat. Moderate length. So this is your brown. A little bit slower on that coat. Now this is a junior, and a lot of times on your juniors, They don't come in with the silvering as quickly on the face, on the ears, and the front legs. So you can see here, while she does have good evenness of silvering over the back and the body, she just doesn't have it on the ears and on the face. That happens a lot with it. It's really tough to get the silvering on the fawns and the browns. It's a struggle I definitely have. You want a good rich undercolor, but it's ideally you want that silvering just carried just as evenly as what I showed you on the blacks. She still exhibits that moderate body length. I'd like to see a little more roundness over the hip, but that's a moderate length. I like this buck because you can really see the brightness of silvering, which is really tough sometimes on the browns. But you can really see the distinction in the brightness of silvering. It's carried all the way down. What's important on the browns is you want a good even distribution of the black hairs and the white, the silvering, as you pull that coat back. Again, a snappy flyback on that coat. He is a junior, and again, just doesn't carry it on the face, on the ears. He has a good moderate length, good shoulder. Your rib cage spread should be as close behind that ear as possible. That's where your arch starts, obviously. But he squares off a little over the hip. Carries good evenness on the tail. Just have to wait for his head to come in. That's bright silvering. That's, you know,